What if I told you that entrepreneurs don't stall because they're unable to make decisions? They stall because they're trying to build momentum without a foundation.
Welcome to Success Spectrum Podcast, where new entrepreneurs break free from limiting beliefs, build unshakable financial confidence, and step boldly into the life and business they were meant to create.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Success Spectrum Podcast, sponsored by Apex Affiliation. I'm your host, Kadeem McLean. Now, over the last few weeks, we covered choosing direction, cutting distractions, making decisions, and staying committed long enough for progress to compound. Today, we're looking at what happens next, why progress often falls apart after you've made a decision. Let's get into why decisions alone don't actually create momentum. I'm sure a lot of you can relate when you've been sitting with a decision or a choice for a long time, or even if it's a recent thing that came up within the last couple of days or last week. When you finally make a decision, there is a feeling of relief that just washes over you. You're relieved because you've made a decision, and we're good moving forward with that one. And it gives you a little bit of motivation. And honestly, sometimes it can register as progress. Right? Because you made the decision, you've taken a step that's required to make progress in this thing. But here's the thing about that. Decisions shift your intentions, but they don't actually change your behavior. And behavior is what we're looking to change. So it's great. We made a decision. We now have a clear direction, let's say. We can be more intentional, but have your habits changed? Has your action changed? Has your behavior shifted with that intention? Decisions feel powerful because they change how you think, not because they change what you do. And this is exactly where a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck, because they've changed their intention, they've changed their mind, they've made a decision rather, and whatever thinking they used to have, it's now shifted into something new. However, their actions may not have changed, or even if they did, maybe they didn't change enough to match the level of that intention. And therefore, over time, when they look back on it, they say, okay, I decided to do this. This is my intention. Why haven't we gotten there? Well, your actions don't match it. Therefore, your results don't match it. Therefore, the motivation fades. Life can often reassert itself. The tires pop, something happens with the car, something happens with the kids in school, you and your spouse may be fighting, whatever the case is. Life happens because life continues. And when life happens and continues, sometimes we can go into our old habits, our old way of thinking, and they take back control. That is your environment. If you are in an environment that is not conducive to this new intention, to this new decision that you've made, and to this new direction, without that structure, the environment is going to win. Without structure, the environment always wins. You don't rise to the level of your decisions. You fall to the level of your systems. If you don't have a structure and system in place, the environment's going to win, and we got a problem. Based off your environment, your motivation is going to fade, because the people in your environment are going to take away that motivation very quickly. If you're disciplined and you're in that environment, you can withstand it for a while, but how long? Because you're still in that environment. Discipline doesn't last forever. It's fleeting. It's going to fade, and therefore the environment will come back and still win in that situation. So if discipline and motivation aren't reliable, what is? See, systems, that is what carries your decision forward. They help you to remove friction. They help you to cut down decision fatigue, and they protect your consistency. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant or huge. It could be simple routines, your default behaviors, and they help you to remove choices where you don't need it. You don't need to be making 1,000 different choices for this one thing. So a system will help you to cut the noise, if you will, and put things into place. What system stands for, in my opinion, is save yourself time, energy, and money. So in doing so, it's going to help you with that consistency. It's going to help you cut down the noise and to focus on what really matters. Consistency isn't about discipline, it's about design. So how do you design this system? Based off of that system, again, it helps you to stay consistent. And this honestly is another reason why leaning on willpower alone, again, that discipline, which everybody thinks is so great, it will eventually burn you out. People think discipline is the main thing. Discipline only comes in short periods. Discipline is when your mind is actively fighting against you doing the thing. And if you don't have a system in place, then discipline kicks in to say, okay, we're going to do this anyway because this is what we said we're going to do, or whatever the case is. That's where discipline comes in. But if you have a habit or routine, discipline and willpower may not be enough, and it will eventually burn out, which is interesting because it makes me wonder, why do so many entrepreneurs, and I've come across a lot of them, which is why I say this, why do so many entrepreneurs resist the system? And in talking to a lot of them, it's because systems feel restrictive to them. It feels like they're giving up their freedom when they follow a system, and they worry about becoming too rigid and not being able to, again, be flexible and have that freedom. But systems, again, save yourself time, energy, and money. They don't remove friction, they protect it. Structure doesn't trap you, it frees you from starting over every single week. Again, these things can be fleeting, right? Willpower, motivation, and just straight up discipline, if you will. They will flee. They're fleeting. So when they flee and they're gone, what are you going to do? That week, you might not do anything. Therefore, you got to relax, recuperate, whatever the case is. And then next week, you might start back. So again, it frees you from starting over every single week. So how do you actually build systems without overcomplicating everything? Because people hear system and their mind kind of shuts down because, again, too rigid, takes away freedom, and people don't like routine, if you will. So again, in order to turn that one decision into a simple system, I think when we do that, it will help us to overcome the thoughts of systems are rigid and they're restrictive, right? So start small. Start very small and build, maybe even just build around one behavior for now. Just build around one behavior that you have. Remove friction instead of adding complexity. These are some ways that we can kind of approach it and start small. If you have something you're already doing, an action, a habit, a routine, build a system around it, if you will, to help you maintain it. This isn't about building the perfect system. It's about building a system that works for you and that you'll actually use. Some examples to this is same time, same place, right? There's a specific time, there's a specific location, and every time that the clock strikes 8 o'clock, or every time I'm at this specific location, then this routine needs to start. This habit needs to kick in. That's when I do this. It's a way to tell your mind essentially to stop negotiating, and it's just going to show up. This reduces that decision fatigue, and it turns into habit instead of debate. It's 8 o'clock. We know 8 o'clock every single day. We get up and we do this. Oh, we're at this specific location. Okay, we know what we do when we're at this location. It shuts the brain down, let's say, in terms of having to make decisions. So it saves you from decision fatigue, and it just, your brain goes in autopilot. It saves energy. It's just, okay, we do this. This is what we do now. But that's essentially the trigger or the cue, which brings me into the next point. Have one trigger that leads into action. And a trigger, again, is something that tells your brain, now we act. This is when we act. This is what we do, right? One trigger should lead to one action. So that trigger we talked about as an example, the time or the place, on this step here, it only leads to one action, not 5 different choices, not 10 different things, one action. It's 8 o'clock. This is what we do at 8 o'clock. We're at this specific location. This is what we do at this specific location. Whatever the cue might be for you. As an example, Monday morning, let's say, I wake up, I brush my teeth, I pray, I drink some water, I pull on my clothes, I listen to some stuff too, motivation and so on and so forth. I pull on my clothes, I get to the gym. All right. After the gym, I come back and I continue the rest of my routine. That morning when I wake up, if it's a Monday, let's say, it's a Wednesday, it's a Friday, that's my cue. That's my trigger. And every single time I know there's specific actions that follow. It's not the list that I gave you. It's okay. It's Monday. I wake up. I brush my teeth every day, but I wake up, I brush my teeth, I come back in. That leads me to the next step, which is I pray. That leads me to the next step, which is I go get some water. That leads me to the next step, which is I pull on my clothes, let's say. That leads me to the next thing, which is I head out and I walk to the gym. Every morning, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's the plan. That's the habit. That's what I do. And my brain knows it. There's no thought. There's no, okay, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. No, it shuts it down. I don't have to make the decision. I just get up and I go. My body, my brain, they know it. So it helps me to stick to that routine because that one trigger leads to that one action, which follows a list of actions, let's say, because the one action builds on the next one and leads me into my routine. This also helps me to remove any hesitation. And when hesitation comes in, that's when we start to negotiate with ourselves. It removes that opportunity for negotiation to come in, and it creates momentum through repetition. The last piece here is to make the right move the default option. See, people, I said it earlier, but people rely too much on discipline. And systems, they flip that. You make the right move, the default option, and therefore doing the right thing requires less effort than doing the wrong thing. It's natural. It's what I do. Being genuine, being kind, being respectful to others. It's going to lead me to certain results, let's say. However, if I'm the opposite of that, it'll give me a different result. I might have some trouble with some people, but my default is I'm going to be kind, I'm going to be respectful, I'm going to be genuine. Therefore, being those things requires less effort for me. And another example of that is if your notes are already open on your desk or your calendar is blocked and distractions are removed, then progress happens by default. You didn't leave any space in your calendar for hesitation. Therefore, again, that negotiation doesn't come in. You didn't leave any space in your calendar for distractions. Therefore, you're going to be focused, and willpower is optional at that point. You don't need to apply willpower to follow your schedule. You just need to follow your schedule. Progress, therefore, becomes automatic because you have your schedule. You've already put in what you need to do. Your intention is now followed by the actions. Your intention is now followed by the routines and the habits because it's in your calendar. And all you got to do is look at it and stick to it. So the goal isn't to do more. It's just to make progress automatic. And in that case, with your calendar, that's exactly what you're doing. Good systems don't force you to be disciplined. They make progress the path of least resistance.
What if shopping could earn you cash instead of just costing you? You've been stuck in the cycle, tap, swipe, spend, watching your paycheck just disappear. But one day, after you stumbled onto this app called Rakuten, you ask yourself, why am I paying full price when I don't have to? But then you think, maybe it's just another gift. Then one of your friends tell you about this app called Rakuten, who makes them money and gives them cash back and rewards for thousands of stores every time they make a purchase that they were made anyway. You try it once, you discover hidden deals, compare prices, and you start winning. Shopping becomes a strategy. Every tap pays you back, and you still get what you want. You share Rakuten with your friends, watch your income grow, and become more financially confident. Download the Rakuten app today and keep more of your hard-earned money in your pocket.
Some points for you here before we close out. Decisions start momentum. Systems, they sustain it. So what I'd like you to do this week is take one decision that you've already made or a habit and ask yourself, what systems do you have that support it right now? And if the answer is none, build a simple system around it. Doesn't have to be anything extravagant, but build a simple system. Again, time, place, whatever. Build a system around it to help you sustain, because if you don't, it's unlikely that you're going to maintain it. You know what I realized though? Building a system is easier when someone is helping you. Someone helps you see where the friction is, because we have blind spots, kind of like blinders, let's say with horses, when they put blinders on them so they can only see in front of them. That's how we are sometimes. We don't see what's outside of our peripheral. And that's where coaching comes in. It helps you to remove that friction. So if you're interested in getting some coaching, getting some help, click down in the description below. Now remember, progress does not come from deciding harder. It comes from building support systems around your decision. So thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you for listening. I know you got something from this, and hey, share this out with somebody who you know can benefit, or somebody who just needs a free phone, right? A chance for a free phone. Click that link in the description, send it out to them. Remember, success isn't a destination. It's a spectrum. So keep evolving. Kadeem here, and I'll see you on the next one.